Today we are doing a repossession of a flat. I'm not going to tell you where it is because that would just be wrong. But what happens on these isn't really anything like what you see on the TV. So on the TV, you will see it that people will gather up and there'll be like a big horde of like 20 people, and they'll have dogs and security, and they'll have all the body armor and all of that sort of rubbish going on. That isn't what happens on these. The type of repossessions we deal with are typically down to mortgage and loan arrears and problems with those. The people within the property, the tenants, they know exactly what is going on. They know it's happening. They know it is going to be done on this day at this time. So the services that we provide is that we basically turn up, we gain entry to the property, and we then have to shut off all of the services normally, and we have to drain down the property. That's where you get all of the water out of the big tanks in the loft, you get the water out of the radiators, all of those sort of things that if the property was left unattended, if a pipe was to burst, it would cause some issues and some extra cost to the property. And we don't want that, because the whole idea of a property being repossessed is that it is then going to be sold on again as quickly as is possible, and then whatever is left over after the property is sold, all of the fees, all of the missed payments, all of the other money owed has all been paid out. Anything that is left after that, that then goes over to the previous owner, and they get that back. So it's a quite, I don't want to say quite a simple process, but it's an easy process. If you've watched it on the TV, as I just said, it's nothing like that at all. So obviously I am not going to film anything to reveal where I am. I'm actually parked just down the road from the property because I've arrived here early. I'm not going to film the person if they're there, but if we do get the opportunity to, then after we have done the lock change, because that's always the first thing that is done after we've gained entry, we've changed the locks, I will then film what we are doing within the property, as long as there's nothing in there that is like a big massive portrait on the wall or something stupid like that that's going to give away who it is and where they are. With these, we do find that we do get ones that are absolutely spotless. They are perfect. We might be met by the previous owner. They are there, and normally at this stage, this is when they turn around and say, well, that's a massive relief. Everything is now over. Finally, we can all move on. We do get other ones where they lock them up as best as they can, and they booby trap, and they do all of these sort of things just to try to make our life a little bit more difficult. But it doesn't normally work. And then we get other ones where we go into and they are absolutely dirty, stinking, horrible hoarders' cesspits. Not always hoarders' cesspits, but quite often it will just be like a cesspit. We've had ones where there have been like adult nappies just everywhere in every single room of the property, wrapped up, open, you name it, you know, those sort of things. We've had other ones where we've not been able to fully open up the front door going into a property. So we've been able to open it enough to be able to squeeze around it, and then you have to climb up like a meter on top of all of the rubbish that's in there just to try to make your way around the property, and trying to locate the services under those sort of situations is a bit of a nightmare. So as I said, I'm parked up at the minute. I've got to wait for the bailiffs to turn up. I believe that this one is with the county court bailiff, so it's all booked in for an exact time. Everybody knows what's going on. The county court bailiffs would have been out for the last month. I think it's a month beforehand they start handing out their notices and doing bits and pieces. I know that we've been booked in on it for quite some time. So I've got to wait for them to turn up, and as and when I see them turn up, I will then drive around there and we will begin. So I will catch up with you. Hopefully we'll be inside of the property and we will be getting on with things. See you in a minute. Well, unfortunately that repo went exactly the way how I thought it was going to. We got through the main doors of it very, very quickly, and we was able to crack on with doing the job. But unfortunately there were pictures everywhere, so we was unable to stand around and really do any filming in there, which is a shame. But anyway, on the next one, we'll get in there and we'll hopefully do some filming. It's just I don't want to give away people's personal details and stuff like that, because it's unfair. There's lots of reasons why these things happen, and it isn't always that the person is at fault. But anyway, as you can see, we are in a totally empty property. at the minute, and this is one that we inspect. There are 4 houses that are empty, and they're all virtually exactly the same layout, and there's a block of 5 flats as well. And these were repossessed when they were half finished, and then they brought in a builder to finish them off, and now they've just been sat empty for quite some time. I'm not quite sure what's happening with them, but there we go. So anyway, we is off now to a clean-up job of another repossessed property, and so let's go and see what we're doing there. And here we go. So this is one that we can film at. This place has been previously repossessed by somebody else. It wasn't done by us, and they have called us in and they've asked us to do what's called a clean and stack. So sometimes they ask us to do a clean and clear. So a clear, that is pretty obvious. You're just removing everything and it all goes to the tip. And a stack is where they want us just to basically take all of the possessions and just stack them up in the corner of a room, just in case somebody ever wants to come back and get their stuff. So it may well be that when they've done the repossession that it looks just like this, and they've not had any contact with the previous owners or the previous tenants. This is how they left the property. So yeah, what we do is we get it all stacked up, we clean the place, and we basically get it ready for sale so that it can then go onto the market. Yeah, quite an interesting little bungalow. There's some lovely black mould up there. Ugh, that is gross. But there we go, that's the grand tour. We literally just walked around the place. So we're going to crack on, we'll get this done, and hopefully I'll show you it once it's finished. And there we go, just like that, just by magic, it is done. So as I said, this one was a stack, so that is just literally, everything is just put tidily into bags. We remove the rubbish, put all the personal effects into bags, and just leave it stacked up in the corner of a room. Because what it basically means now is that anybody who comes in to view, with a view to buying the property, one, the place isn't cluttered with the old person's stuff. So if we look here, you see, obviously stacking that in the corner of the room isn't on, so you just put them in a cupboard like that. It isn't full up with the old person's stuff. It's clean, it's got air fresheners about the place. Apparently they smell nice. I don't know, I've got 0 sense of smell, so I can't really tell. And it's been given a clean. It's not the greatest of cleans in the world, but it is certainly cleaner than what it was before we started. So yeah, looks a little bit different, a little bit better. So that's that job jobbed. Right, on to the next one. Oh no, the lights are going to cause issues with the camera in here, aren't they? Oh no, right, okay, well we'll be in and out of here as quick as we can. I just thought I'd show you around this one. It's Friday morning and I'm just here. This is one of the Airbnbs that we have. It's a very, very popular one. So I just thought I'd just do you a quick tour of it because I'm just inspecting it. Oh, look at them stairs. Just before the cleaners finish up and just getting it ready. But yeah, so this is a grade 2 listed building. So all the beams up here, they're all original. We'll go downstairs in just a second. So this one sleeps 6, and the stairs are steep. Yes, someone's going to say something about the stairs. I know they are, but as I say, grade 2 listed. Absolutely nothing we can do about them. It is just how it is. But in here, like this is spectacular, and it is a non-working fireplace. That doesn't work. You can't have fires in there. But it sleeps 6, and yeah, it does absolutely fantastic. it goes great guns. But I'm just in here doing our inspection. We used to have, oh crikey, what did we have? We had about 25, 26, something like that, different properties at one point. But trying to make money out of them, or trying to make enough money out of them, is just impossible. Absolutely impossible. You can do it with certain ones, but you know, as you've already seen, we work in the repossession industry, and there are so many properties that we repossess that are purpose built, just had a brand new fit out to turn them into holiday lets, and they're being repossessed because they've screwed up somewhere along the lines on the finance, or there's been an issue. So yeah, I just thought I'd show you that as just a little bonus to the video. Well, it's now Friday afternoon, and you know, I got it sorted. I've got the cricket going on there, and I've got my work going on up there. So let's just flick you around for a second and give you something there. There we go. Right, so that is it. It is the end of the week at long last. It's not the end of the working week for me, because I work all weekend anyway. We've got a couple of campers in at our campsite this weekend, which we will show you all within good time. Finally, after long last, we have got the gas and electric sorted in some of the flats up above here. You might have seen in the last video I was going on about that. So there are 3 flats up above here. I'll go through them in next week's video. And 2 of them now have got gas and electric sorted to them. So we know that the gas and electric is on in them, which means we can finally, at long last, get the safety checks done. And once the safety checks are done, we can then get them let out and rented, which will be great because they will then finally start to bring some cash back in, which is much needed. We've then got 1 other flat in there, and I don't know what it is. I get hold of British Gas, and they're not based in this country, they're based elsewhere. And you explain to them that the electric has been switched off because the previous person didn't pay the bill, or whatever happened. Maybe they said they were moving out and then it went without an account, and the electric got turned off at the meter, as they do. It's not a prepay meter, it's one that's done on like a direct debit sort of thing. And it doesn't matter how many times I speak to the text help for British Gas or how many times I ring them up, every single time they turn around and they say call 105. Now 105 in the UK is the number you call if there's been like a power cut. So if all the power goes out for the whole building, you would call that number and you would say, help, there's been a power cut in this area. And then they send an engineer out to get it sorted for you. So I'm still fighting with British Gas over that, just to try to get this 1 meter reactivated, and then finally, you know, that'll be like stress lifted off your shoulders, and we're able to crack on with other things and get stuff done. But anyway, you've reached the end of the video. You've done incredibly well to get this far. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like, comment, subscribe, do all those things that people say to do, and until the next video, bye bye.